Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique in the Bridges at 57th, The Sky in T, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach. Wow, do we have a lot to cover this week. Besides a couple of great conversations, we have to start off with an announcement that just came out yesterday. The Mighty Corson Art Players will have a live event featuring the Midwestern Radio Theater of Fear Falls, written by local actor and playwright Mo Hurley. Special event is going to be a live recording of a Fear Falls episode along with a live episode of my show, The Dave Holly Hour, but it will feature Mo. We'll be talking to her about it, and we'll also have hers in ours. Going to be a great thing. Sunday, August 6th. Tickets will be available soon, and some more details to come on that as well. Meanwhile, tomorrow night, Emily Wilson and I will co-host the Vaughties Lucky Sevens Variety Show, 7 p.m. at Wild Prairie Winery near Brandon. It's a night of fun. That's with two N's, in fact. At least that's how I spelled it in the script. And frivolity, and a whole lot of music. It's going to include comedian Casey Custak, vocalist Allegra, the Broads of Broadcast Theater, and great fun time music from the cleverly named duo Nobody You'd Know, plus some fun door prizes. Tickets, only $15, are available online at thevaughties.com. That's T-H-E, and then Vaughties is V-A-U-D-I-E-S. Thevaughties.com. They will also be available at the door, cash, credit, or debit card. Later in the show, we'll find out all about South Dakota Aerial and Arts from co-owners Ashley Premer and Katie Critzer. Coming up in just a few minutes, we hear from that cleverly named duo as we chat with Michael Sorenson and Pierce Hoffman from Nobody You'd Know. Plus, we'll tell you who or what gets this week's honorable mention, as well as choose another winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
And let's toast again to the fact that we have so many different things we can take in our community. It keeps growing and growing in terms of the culture, the arts, and the entertainment. The only sad part was on the 4th of July, didn't get to have the parade. Mother Nature decided that she would rule at that point. But there will be more to come. There will be so much more that's ahead of us as well. So we all look forward to not just what's around the corner, but what's down the road as well, here in our fine city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the surrounding area that we love to call the Sioux Empire. The Weekend Eve Toast has been brought to you by The Sky in Tea. The Sky provides all caps fun, and that is best had with friends. Have fun playing darts, shooting pool, listening to great live music from local musicians. Oh, maybe you want to be that singer. Have fun singing at karaoke. Maybe you're going to have a big party or a benefit of some sort, and you need a little bit more room than a regular small-town bar. But, well, first of all, the tea area is not so small anymore, is it? But the Sky isn't either. They've got that big back room. They've had it for a couple of years now, so no matter what's going on at the Sky, it's local and it's lively. It's time to choose a lucky winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. everyone that follows the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook or Instagram is automatically entered to win a free pizza from Sonny's Pizzeria. We pick a winner each week. This week we say congratulations to Tyler F. Johnson. We'll be in touch with you, Tyler, to get you all set up with some jowl-dropping, show-stopping, thin-crust pizza. Tyler's stopped a few shows himself. Pizza with the Podcaster is brought to you by Sonny's Pizzeria, right across from USF at 26th and Waltz, and Sonny's at 81 on South Phillips. Check out the very fun and incredibly flavorful menu online, Sonny'sPizzeria.com. Honorable mention. Once again, tough to choose this week's honorable mention, but the performance that stuck out, mainly because I love really hot cooking jazz. Last Friday night at the Levitt, while the headline act was amazing, the local boys that opened that night, some excellent jazz, the Brian Hannigan Quintet, plays jazz in their own way, and jazz rocked the Levitt that night. So congrats, Brian Hannigan Quintet. You are this week's winner of Honorable Mention. Later on, we hear from aerial artists Ashley Premer and Katie Critzer. Up next, musicians Michael Sorenson and Pierce Hoffman on the Dave Holly Hour.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes through the Sioux Falls Community Education Program and special open studio nights every Thursday evening. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Support the Dave Holly Hour in a very easy way. Buy Dave a cup of coffee by clicking the cup in the lower left corner of www.davehollyhour.com.
Right out of the gate, I have to say it, it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. There, I just said it pretty plainly this time, but this is going to be fun because this is the first time I ever get to use this type of introduction. On our show today is nobody you'd know. Perhaps, though, if you're longtime listeners of this show, you do, because they've been on separately, but finally we get an opportunity to have them together. Not only that, but tonight you would have an opportunity to go see them at the Sandbar. Tomorrow night, a big show at Wild Prairie Winery called Vaughties, which I will co-host with Miss Emily Wilson. And these guys are going to finish the show with lots of fun tunes to sing along to. It's Michael Sorenson and Pierce Hoffman. Welcome, my friends.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us, Dave.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
I knew you'd use it. Is this the first time either of you have been in the Dipsy Doodle production studio?
My very first.
I thought so. Yeah.
I'm glad we could do this together, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I appreciate the little tour you gave us, and I always think if I'm speaking on a podcast, I don't have to worry about dressing up for the occasion. True. But I didn't know that I would, be in such surroundings as this.
You have
so much history,
and I feel like we're in the inner circle now.
We made
it. You are.
We have arrived.
I didn't get your gift bags made though.
Well,
yeah, so
that's all right.
But I got plenty of purple and orange suckers over there.
Michael loves himself a purple and orange.
Fine, I'll just grab stuff off your shelf as I leave.
Yeah, we got some colored pencils, whatever you need, really.
So if your 8 tracks are missing, then you'll know.
That's right. We have basically every format. The one we couldn't actually put up on the wall would be digital.
Wow.
Yeah, but
a little difficult on that end.
Very, very much so. Unless I took an old laptop and plunked it up there. Do like they do at all the restaurants now, where you see all the the drywall screws into everything. Here's this classic looking piece. drywall.
Just straight into
Yep.
it.
We'll have that
That's
someday.
it.
We'll have a Nobody You'd Know app where you can just thumbs up or down on every song. Maybe we don't want that, though. That probably...
I don't know.
All right, so let's go backward a little bit here first. All right, so Michael, I first met you. You and Matt Hasted were doing 6 Feet Over.
Yes.
And because you and he are tall.
Yes.
And you still play sometimes?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You know, Matt, he's a busy guy. He has his hands in a lot of buckets, working with Remedy. He does a ton of things in the community. And lately he's been busy helping Heather Wendlandt with the Cat Cafe,
That's right.
downtown right by Bin 201. And I know that's going to be opening later this month.
Okay.
Wow, that's so quick.
Yeah, and that's one of the
awesome.
things that kind of fed into as we were looking at scheduling for the summer for 6 Feet Over. He's like, Mike, I got to tell you, we just cannot do as many shows as we have in the past. On top of that, we got Austin Van Bakker, our drummer. He's got kid number 2 on the way. They have a little boy due this fall, which is great. So, I mean, these great things happening, but when life happens, it just makes it more difficult to do some of these shows.
True.
And so, meanwhile, I'm getting emails and calls and text messages from different venues that we've played year after year after year, and I'm going, well, gosh, I'm not just going to show up alone and do these shows, but I don't want to just not play at all these venues.
Right.
So I talked to the guys and said, well, how about we'll do, we spaced out some dates, so 6 Feet Over does have, I got 6 dates here, between now and the end of September. So yeah, we are playing, next time we play is July 15th at Broadwater Bar. So I love being on the water. It's going to be so much fun to do that. But that's what spurred the conversation with Pierce. We're already doing dueling piano shows, but to be honest, dueling pianos really isn't much of a summer thing to do. People like being outside on patios, and so do we. And so a lot of times our dueling piano shows, we're finding that they get booked much more in the winter when you have corporate events and holiday parties and fundraisers and all that stuff. So it initiated a conversation with Pierce and I going, well, hey, Pierce, I mean, would you, I mean, I have these dates where we can play. I just don't have the band availability that I used to. Maybe we book and just, do some shows, and that's what started Nobody You'd Know.
And even last summer, there was at least once where Matt wasn't able to be at a certain gig, and so I just filled in as 6 Feet Over. And so we still played under that name, but it just kind of sparked just Michael and I playing in this capacity together, me on acoustic and him on piano, and it works really well for us. As much as we love to play on pianos, back and forth, and having Zach Dresch there during those shows, it's so much fun. But to simplify it and bring it to patios around town, and to kind of play more, as much as we love playing every request possible, there are certain songs that we just are better at. Our vocal, our voices are lend themselves better to those. And so, yeah, just really excited and blessed to be able to do that this summer.
And I always love it when you get up there and say that, we're Nobody You'd Know. And, it's such a great tongue-in-cheek thing anyway, and a clever name. And just give us the line you always have when you start a set.
I mean, it's we're Nobody You'd Know, Pierce Hoffman, Michael Sorenson. Nobody You'd Know. That way you don't have to lie when everybody asks who you saw last night. And on top of that, for those of us that want to follow us on Facebook, we've got our performance dates on there and everything. But those that call themselves fans, we'll say we'll eventually call them groupies, whatever. But they are officially titled Nobodies, spelt Nobuddies. Yeah,
I love it.
So yeah, here's how the conversation goes. The next day, who was that band last night? They were so good.
Nobody You'd Know.
Yeah. Well, at least they're not lying either way, because you are so good. And then nobody could know with that line about not lying. Who you saw? Well, nobody could know. But a great time always seeing you guys play together. And I have witnessed both Dual Purpose and Nobody You Know. First of all, I'm really getting a kick out of the Nobody You Know, the whole shtick, and the Nobodies. And I love the logo, too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw you guys as that, you had masking tape on your guitar case or something.
I had to have something just so that people could see the initials.
Yeah,
and
then now it's a good-looking piece there.
Yeah.
And there's another iteration of that coming, too. So, tell them basically your setup that we do. I mean, with 6 feet over and with dueling pianos, we would set out a tip jar, but that's no more.
Yeah, so I just kind of had this idea to put... I'd like to eventually do a nicer version of it, but currently just a cardboard cutout that I traced the inside of my guitar, and so I just kind of press it up against the lid of that. But yeah, Michael got the initial design made, and I had some ideas as far as kind of tweaking it a little bit. So anyways, I had a projector on the wall. I made stencils. I did this whole thing, and anyways, long story short, I guess that is what ended up that initial design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it fits right inside the lid of your guitar case and sits as a really nice display.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the guitar case is open then to throw some bills in.
If people are so inclined, or if they feel like we're worthy,
I think you do okay there. Yeah. Let's go back and talk about dual purpose just for a little bit. You were mentioning, Michael, that that's not the type of show really for summertime, but because you've got the big parties and things like that, so it's really meant for a venue that has some decent seating.
That's been our experience. It's dueling piano shows tend to go better when people are there for the entire show and aren't coming and going and kind of in with other conversations.
Or Harley's being revved up.
Yeah. So we haven't done a total of a ton of shows as far as outdoor when it comes to dual purpose, but
not that we are opposed to it.
Right, not at all.
Excited for that future opportunity, but have yet to do that.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a time.
Oh yeah, we'll
so
one.
We do have one show scheduled in October for it's a fundraiser, and it's going to be in Spencer, Iowa. So looking forward to that. Aside from that, we're just standing by with these other projects that we have going on. So basically, depending on the time of year, we just kind of flex in one direction or the other.
All right. So you guys play basically at least once a week, right?
Lately,
Probably twice even.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean,
I've done my best when scheduling these events, whether it's in a patio or whatever, to canter them out as much as possible. I've learned the hard way when you have a Friday show and then maybe a Saturday afternoon and then an evening show, that's a lot of packing up and tearing down and especially when it's the middle of summer. I do my best to not have more than a couple a week. It burns up your voice, and it's a lot of work, to be honest.
Well, I guess I wanted to ask that because then how often do you rehearse then? Because if you're playing that often together, things are pretty fluid.
It kind of depends on what show we're preparing for. We do have rehearsals. Piers will come over, or I'll go over to his place, and he has a piano set up over at his place, and of course I do as well. So we just kind of
whichever place works.
We pick a couple dates and just spend a couple hours doing music, whatever comes to us. I mean, we'll pull up some top 40 stuff that we expect people will want to hear, and then also we both come with a list basically of, hey, here's some stuff we want to try, or here's some things that we're already doing that we want to kind of solidify. Most recently, I mean, Pierce just sends me songs, just a playlist here and there, and I'll do it back and forth with him to where it's just like, hey, what about this one? What about this one? Because we like constantly being on the lookout for something new. It makes it more interesting for us. It makes it more of an entertaining show, a product for the people that come to our performances, and I don't know, I think it just makes it a lot more fun.
What's been a recent song that you've sent him and that's contemporary?
I guess I don't know if Michael's listened to it a whole lot, but I did play it just because I asked to play it by myself, and so Michael got to take a little break there. But a new song by the Foo Fighters called "Under You." Very excited to I don't know, play that one. Sort of a tribute to the late Taylor Hawkins. I don't know, my wife's a big Foo Fighters fan, so gotta cater to that every once in a while.
I'm guessing that Melissa probably gets a few songs in there that
So that she does. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I got, I don't know, there's a few country tunes that both her and my mother-in-law, Barb, both really enjoy. And so you got to cater to that. One thing I was going to say on that note was, you know, I worked at our wine bar downtown for a very long time. Loved working there, especially because of all the live music.
Right.
Got to meet so many musicians, so many incredible musicians, so talented. And to see everybody come through. And so when you do that for a certain amount of time, you notice the kind of songs that are repetitive between different artists and whatnot. And one thing that I always did notice or did appreciate was when an artist would take a cover, but actually make it their own.
Right.
It's still their style. It's not that they're trying to copy or emulate whatever it was. Because I don't know. It's fun to do that and great to be able to do that. But people are drawn to authenticity, and to be able to take a song that everybody knows already, but to make it interesting and different and your own is really cool. And so with Nobody You'd Know, Michael and I were kind of talking about it this past week too. Is just that our goal is to play songs that people don't necessarily expect, but they love that we're playing.
Right. Yeah. It makes me think, first of all, a good friend of mine, Mike Hendrickson, always says, live music is good for the soul. And
couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And I'm in a group, the Midtown Coffee Radio Hour, and I just host, and I get to watch these incredible musicians and vocalists. And I told them one time, I said, what I love about you guys is that it's live, and I get to hear it finally, because there will be songs that they cover and again put their own authenticity into, and it's a song that I've heard on the radio before and didn't necessarily like, and now all of a sudden I hear it and it's got new meaning.
It's got a different depth to it.
It brings it to me then. And then what do I do after that? Then I go download the original to compare. Go, they're not as good.
Right?
That is a phenomenon that we've run into as musicians, because there's been times where, maybe Pierce will send a song over. I'm like, really? That one?
Yeah.
But when you play it, it hits different. You know, like sometimes I've had that happen with countless songs that either I didn't like, and then I played and I liked them, or a song that I love and then I play it, I'm like, this is just an awful song. So I guess
fit
it just works both ways.
Thought.
I thought this was going to be great and it just didn't land.
I've done that so many times, where it's a song where you hear and you sing along to it, you're like, God, I would love to do that song, and then you go to play it and you're like, I should not play that song.
But I will say, at shows when Pierce does a song, especially if Alyssa happens to be there in the audience, once in a while, and we had a conversation not too long ago where he's like, well, I feel bad, but can I do this one? Just like, can you just not play? And he thought he was
not disrespectfully.
Yeah, he thought he didn't want to hurt my feelings, but it's just like, it's kind of just a one person song, and I'm like, say no more. Oh my goodness. That gives, I literally can walk off the stage in the middle of my own show and just sit for a second and enjoy him making some music. So far from being offended, I'm like, let me know. I'll sit out for a whole set if you want. But
and literally sit, because you stand when you play.
But we love when Alyssa's able to be at shows. Alyssa has been helping out a lot with Dual Purpose, because she helps take care of a lot of the back end communication with different prospects, and also running her own business. I know, speaking of our Friday night event with the Bodies, she's going to be bringing her the Cowgirl. I can let you maybe tell her.
The Posh Cowgirl, an extension of Posh Boutique.
A fine sponsor of this show.
Absolutely. But just was a really cool idea that Alyssa kind of dreamed up and bought a trailer, and it looks amazing. I was really excited to I helped her design the racks that are inside of that, which in fact that was like the first thing that I ever designed that became an actual thing. I don't know, it was really cool. But we did that. I helped her with the cash wrap, and but she's just really just taken off with that, and that in and of itself has taken off. It's been incredible watching her just reignited and excited about it, and just about the opportunity to do that this summer.
Yeah, and that's great that it's going to be out there tomorrow night
Yes.
at Wild Prairie Winery. And so people have a chance to see it tonight at the Sandbar, tomorrow night as part of Vaughties, and we'll talk of Vaughties in just a moment. But what time are you guys playing tonight then?
6:30 to 9.
6:30 to 9. All right.
A little bit shorter, not quite a 3-hour stint, but yeah, 2.5.
Love the glass surrounded patio though.
That is
perfect
cool.
size.
That's-
It's
yeah.
your own little amphitheater when you're a musician playing at Sandbar.
Beautiful spot.
All right. So tomorrow night, the Vaughties. You guys are going to
Yes.
be the final act. We're going to have Mr. Casey Kustak doing some comedy.
Very excited about that.
Allegra, if you've not heard her before.
I haven't.
Powerhouse voice. And she's going to be doing some tunes, not so much Broadway, but, motion picture soundtrack, biggies,
Fun stuff.
and so
Okay.
some great stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to have her kind of like in the corner, and I've got this really nice old vintage mic, and we're going to have her be there, and then she'll kind of just do a song between acts and so
I
forth.
love it.
And then we've got the Broads from Broadcast Theater. They're going to be doing some skits and a few scenes from some of the things that they've done, some of their favorites. So that'll be great. Myself and Emily.
Yep.
Emily Wilson, we will be the co-hosts, and looking forward to a great show. And then, yes, we're going to have some giveaways too, people.
Very exciting.
It's the Lucky Sevens, because tomorrow night, 7 p.m., 7th day, 7th month.
Wow.
I think there's going to be some 777 lottery tickets.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
we're
we're
going to
we'll have. Well, I look at it this way, if you go to this show, you're going to hit the jackpot.
Yes.
Yes,
It's going to be a blast.
it
and-
will be.
Yeah.
and looking forward to it. And you guys get to finish it all up. And I think it's going to be one of those. Typically we do. For the music, we'll have them do 20 to 30 minutes. But if people are having a good time, I have the feeling you guys are having a good time. And
Yes.
we
We're
don't
here
know
for
what
it.
time they shut down.
We'll roll with it.
Exactly.
Roll with it. It's funny that you mentioned show tunes too.
Yeah.
We've been known to throw a couple of those into our set list as well.
That we do. I
Yes, Mr. Disney.
I do. Yes. No, I gotta throw in as much Disney as I can. It's you don't do all of them every show.
Right.
But it's a point of sneaking them in. It was great this last week, or when we played at Tinner's. There were a lot of kids there, or quite a few of them, and so I think that was the first audience that, although people our age still do enjoy it and hear it, something about playing that to the younger generation, their faces lit up as soon as I started doing I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
And they were the ones singing along.
Oh, they were having a dancing, singing, all of it. It was great. It was so awesome to see.
That is the great part of your guys' show, is the fact that you like seeing people having fun, and people have fun automatically at yours. And is that a big goal of the show?
It can be. It's any performer, anybody on a stage can probably relate. Like, quite often you're looking for some kind of response, and especially whether it's comedy or whatever form it takes. I think it's important in our community. We have a lot of for instance, Dave, we always love when you come to our shows because you guys are always so engaged. And there's many times that I've gone to a performance and thoroughly enjoyed it, but I might have a conversation going, or I might not know whatever, and so just because you don't see that response from people doesn't mean that they didn't enjoy it. But boy, it makes a huge difference when someone comes up and says, "Hey, when you did such and such a song, I really liked it because I grew up listening to it," or whatever the story may be. I love that. And I will say, sometimes when you do have that audience member that's maybe a little bit more stoic or stone-faced, but then you pull out a Disney song and I see him just ever so slightly singing along. And I don't think anybody else in the whole room sees it, but I'm scanning for it. So if you want to go to quality entertainment, sometimes being a great audience member and encouraging and clapping and engaging is some of the best things that you can do to help elevate that experience for everybody.
I like, though, that you said just because somebody's maybe not doing that doesn't mean they're not enjoying it. I have a very heartwarming story.
Please.
Performing. back in the days when I was a professional clown, and I was hired to go to a nursing home over in Ellsworth, Minnesota. Small population, and but they had this activities director that was just a go-getter, and so they were having carnival days. Right. And I go over there, and she has all of the staff wearing a red clown nose.
Okay.
Gotcha. So right off the bat, it's like, cool. And then I look around, it's like, this is not just your average nursing home, having people around sitting, having a piece of cake and a cup of coffee. They were having fun, and they're just having a blast doing the games, and they were cool games. So I would go around, and one of the gags that I used to do is I would have a little squeaker inside a glove, and I'd give him out a sticker of a clown and tell him that it's a magic sticker. And if you press him right on his nose, and then I'd squeak. And of course, these people were, for the most part, great faculties amongst them.
Yeah.
And they would either just laugh because of the gag, or they'd look down at it and then look up and, yeah, I get it, and so forth. Well, there was this one lady that was sitting in a wheelchair and showing no emotion. I thought, oh, man. So I go over there, and I pull that gag on her. She looks at the sticker. She looks back up at me, and she says, "We'll all be damned." And so then at the end of my time there, I'm waving goodbye and so forth, and all of a sudden I feel a tug on my arm, and it's this lady, and she says, "Thank you for a wonderful day of entertainment."
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, very cool. So it's wonderful when you find out,
Yep.
Just like, I remember one of my bucket list items was to get a standing ovation.
Yeah.
I didn't get it until I was in my 50s, but and now I'm 60.
But he did it, folks.
Maybe one for a decade is what I'm going to go for.
There you go.
But it does mean a lot, and it means a lot to have you guys, not just on the show, not just to see you, but in the community too, because it provides so much, especially during the summertime when people get the opportunity to see you at various venues. And one of the things I like is that you're both good people too.
Oh, thank you.
It's not just hey, we got a band and we like to play and we're okay, and you've both made mention of the talent that we have in town, and I think that is what's so amazing, is that you can still have a full schedule with how many people are out there playing almost every weekend.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, with our Nobody You Know Facebook page up and running and doing its thing, What's Going On Sioux Falls is obviously tagging us in events and stuff, and it's just the list just goes and goes, as far as you have so many opportunities to see somebody. Yeah. Whether you're going to be downtown or if you're going to be on the south side, or wherever you're at, there's somebody to see and entertainment to take in.
In fact, on this past Friday, my love and I, we went to the Levitt, not so much for the headliner, but because it was the Brian Hannigan Quintet playing first, and wow, absolutely phenomenal. And we caught the headliner for a little bit, but then we wanted to go over and see Elizabeth Hunstead, but she had to call in and cancel over at Woodgrain.
No.
So shoot. But then they didn't start till 9. And, we're old and like to go to bed early. But we did go over to Thirsty Duck to catch Bangers and Mash, Simon Floss's new band. And excellent. They were very, very fun. And so fun times, good music, great people. We've got a great arts and entertainment community, that is for sure.
I consider Thirsty Duck to be maybe my old stomping grounds. I used to go to Monday night karaoke every week from age, 21 to 20, whatever. And I think that helped create the foundation for learning a ton of songs that you just hear in that environment anyway. And it turns out it's a pretty good venue for bands. I've heard a lot of live music there. So.
Yeah, very good. So what was the go-to karaoke song, Michael?
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's when I started singing Friends in Low Places. I would always do Istanbul, not Constantinople by They Might Be Giants. Right. So I don't know if you know the song, but it's a lot of fun. And usually that gets people like, what song is this? Because it's a little offbeat. But that was always one that I did that was fun.
What's your fun song go to? If we were to go out and karaoke, what's the first song you gotta sing?
Cry Me a River by Michael Bublé. That version. Not a it's
You crooner, you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't help but do it. My vocal tendency tends to lend itself towards the crooner type, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, all that. And so I sang so much.
We got to do that louder.
That's a high five, yeah.
There it is. I grew up, my grandma always had Michael Bublé playing in the car, and so she always asked me to sing along with it, and the range always fit my vocal range fairly well, and so that song in particular is one that I like. The higher notes are just a belt for me, and it was funny story. I do want to tell you this real quick. So got married back in November, and then we went down to Jamaica for our honeymoon, and there was one night they had karaoke. And so we went down there, and they only did karaoke for like an hour.
Oh.
I was like, people barely started showing up, and they're like, all right, we're moving on to the DJ. And it was like,
what? Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, the like 5 of us sang one song, and it was over.
We take it more seriously here in the Midwest, evidently.
Yeah.
That's because we have nothing else to do in the winter.
So we're down there, and on our honeymoon, and Alyssa gets up and decides to sing Goodbye, Earl. So that was a great start. No, it was hilarious. Everybody thought it was really funny, and she killed it on that song. She always does. So then, even funny, I then got up and sang "Cry Me a River." So we're both singing just weepy songs, or just not great songs to each other, but both songs that fit our vocal range very well. So it's not always the message. But the tone in which you get
your
to
newlywed
to
love
sing.
song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for me, I can do a little bit more because I did finally at the age of 58 a couple of years ago take voice lessons, and so I went from 8 notes to about 18.
Hey,
yeah, but
progress is progress.
Exactly. So first of all, it was always Mac the Knife. That's right in there.
Sure.
Perfect for me.
There you go.
And then I also got very fond of Luck Be a Lady Tonight. Oh, man. And then especially, I usually have some Jack Daniels in my hand, just like Frank would have.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
You got to complete the experience.
Exactly. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, guys. So looking forward. I don't know if we'll be able to get out there tonight at the Sandbar because getting ready for tomorrow night.
Yep. No, that's all right.
For the Vaudies. And so definitely going to have a great time at the Vaudies tomorrow night. And for those that have never seen Nobody You'd Know, you will know them after that. And you, too, can become a nobody.
Nobody's assemble.
Yep, nobody's. Buddes at the end. All right. So, Michael Sorenson, if you are not performing, what do you like to be doing?
It's amazing how much I enjoy working on my lawn.
Really?
Yeah. There's something about being a homeowner that just makes you have to keep up. It doesn't mean my lawn looks good, but I enjoy putting in the work. So that's something that's really relaxing for me. Just put in some earbuds, mow, get the trimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, just
good for
really
you.
take care of it.
I got to be honest. Alyssa thinks it's really dumb how much I can watch people mow lawns.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's beautiful.
Fun isn't the right word, but it's just like it's satisfying.
Oh, so satisfying. The end result.
Yeah. All right, Pierce.
For me, speaking of mowing lawns, I love to golf. And so
what's your handicap?
Right now, I'd say I'm probably like an 8 to 10, somewhere around there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, I say because I used to be a lot more practiced up, and I was a little bit better back then, but still love to get out and compete with my friends. Much like music, you can always kind of pick yourself apart on the golf course.
Oh yeah.
And so it's kind of one of those things that there's always the successes, but then you always, I don't know, there's ways to learn grace for yourself in those moments too.
Well, I always equated golf to the most strenuous sport because of one thing: your brain.
Oh, it's incredible.
Overthink, underthink, think too much, just boom.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
I don't know how the pros do it.
Yeah.
They just stay so laser focused. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. No doubt about that. All right. Nobody would know. Go see him tonight at the Sandbar. See him tomorrow night at the Vaudies. Tickets are available at thevaudies.com. That's TheVaudies for Vaudies. Just think of vaudeville.com, and there's a little spot. Click on it, and you can get yourself a ticket for only $15. We also will have tickets at the door, and we'll give you a variety of ways to pay for them. And, of course, we do love good old American cash,
Yes.
especially now that we had just celebrated, the 247th birthday of the United States of America. All right. Nobody would know. Michael Sorenson, Pierce Hoffman, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it. We'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffitt's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
He's a bit flirtatious, but most of all, fun. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everybody. Right off the bat, I'm going to say it. It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment, and I always love it when, first of all, I get new guests, I get repeating guests, and I get to talk about something really cool. And in fact, we're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, let's say congratulations on the grand opening of South Dakota Aerial and Arts, and its co-owners, Ashley Premer and Miss Katie Critzer, are here. Thank you, ladies, for joining us here in the Dipsy Doodle Production Studio. Great to have you.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yes, and I actually got the chance to get over to your grand opening, and you were actually teaching some lessons at that time. But I kind of want to backtrack, especially with you, Katie, because I remember the first time I ever saw anything about Circa Perform. And being a huge circus performance fan, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I told you on the first time that you were on this show that I always considered the silks and the aerials to be the most elegant thing that takes place at a circus. And so you were just kind of getting into it. You'd been to a few things and taken in some competitions, things like that. And then, boom, all of a sudden I'm seeing that you're performing everywhere, I should say. And then out of that, you start a new business too. Because I knew you were interested in teaching and so forth, and you were kind of on the cusp of that. But how did it get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, over the last year and a half, we've done a lot. We started performing more publicly at events. People would see us, they'd want us at their events. And then we really wanted to create a safe space for adults and kids to learn aerial. We knew that we loved it. We thought there was so much potential within Sioux Falls to bring more people to this sport that we love. So, we started bringing more tryouts to town too. So last summer it was a lot of performing, doing all of that. And then now we're trying to give as many people the opportunity to try aerial as we can. So yeah, it's just continuing to grow. We've gotten so many great opportunities, and we're just excited to continue to bring more and more people to it.
So when you started doing aerials yourself, Was this in the back of the mind?
No.
Or are you like way beyond what you ever thought was going to happen with this?
Oh, no, I had no intention of doing any of this. Honestly, it's something that when you see a need for something to happen and you love it and you're passionate about it, and if you don't do it, it won't exist. You have to take the leap and make it happen. And that's what we've been doing every step of the way. And I'm just like, what are we going to do in the next year? Because we've already done so much in the last year and a half. So,
Ashley, how did you get involved in this?
3 years ago, my husband said, hey, you haven't told me what you want for Christmas, and it's highly annoying that you refuse to tell me what you want for Christmas. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I've always wanted to take silks lessons. There's a gym in town that teaches it. Get me a class. So he got me a 10-class pass. My first 6 classes were with her, but they were technically like beginner 2. So I left crying every day. And I got home and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And he's like, I bought you 10 classes. You are going back. And after the 7th class, he deeply regretted that. And her and I became really close friends during the pandemic. The first few months of pandemic, I messaged her and I was like, hey, for my mental health, like I can't not have these classes. Can I pay you to come in on a date like where it's just you and I? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there anyways. So her and I got super close during the pandemic. And it's been about 2 years that I have been on I'm opening my own gym because I'm uncomfortable as an adult in this gym. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, you want to do something crazy? Can we open our own gym? And she was like, that sounds terrifying. Let's do it. And then, I started performing with Circa pretty well right off the bat, like 2 months in. And then I started being like, hey, I went to this bar and I talked to the owner. We should perform there. And I just kind of started spitballing things at her like, hey, I'm going to become a part of this, whether you like it or not. So hop on.
I like that, though. You know, what a great answer. Yeah, terrifying, but let's do it.
That's kind of how our friendship is. Hey, that sounds terrifying. Let's do it.
but I think that's what makes it so like complimentary too, is like one of us will have an idea and it's like, am I crazy or is this not actually a crazy idea? So, you know,
unfortunately we're both crazy,
but even
you're looking at a third here.
Yeah. But with that too, you know, it's something that you might have the thought in the back of your mind, but if someone brings it up and has the same energy as you, but different, you know, specialties. Ashley owns other businesses as well. She has that experience. So, you know, having someone you can trust to open a business alongside you who knows the ropes, you know, makes it helpful.
She has business and marketing, whereas I have the artsy side because I own artistic businesses. So together, we both love performing and we love bringing that to Sioux Falls and the surrounding. I performed down in St. Louis. I'm going to bring her down there with me this year. It's just nice that we do complement each other really well because it's almost like right brain, left brain. And so we make one full brain. We joke that we share a brain cell and it's not entirely untrue.
Well, I know when I was there Sunday, I was at the tail end. So you had already experienced what kind of crowd you had. And, Katie, you had said you're kind of hoping, well, gosh, we get 10, whatever. And then I talked to you, Ashley. It's like, yeah, it just kept multiplying. And it was coming in, so you had to be thrilled about that. But in terms of the business itself, then, how's it going to this point in terms of number of students, classes, and so forth?
I feel like we're on the right path. We're obviously still a new business, and summertime for gyms is hard. People cancel memberships in the summer so that they can travel and they're not paying for their memberships. But we have so many one-off classes and she's so savvy at marketing that she's really good at when we are slow, she can bring in money like nobody's business. And then I do that for our performance side where I'm like, hey, we don't have that many performances. I'm going to go out and schmooze. I'm going to go use my social battery and I'm going to get us gigs. And so like, even when we feel like it's slow, it's not.
Yeah, and we brought over a lot of students when we opened, and one of the things I was really passionate about was bringing in unlimited membership. I know when I started, I felt like I could only go once a week because nothing else was offered to me, and to be able to make progress and especially as an adult looking for like a fitness hobby or a studio or gym, you don't want to buy 2 or 3 gym memberships. You want to go to one place with your community and keep going as often as possible. So we have a lot of very dedicated students who will come 6-7 times a week for different classes and
open gyms
all of these different things. And they're making so much progress in such a short period of time, where it might have taken them years previously and they made that progress in 3 months because of the access that they have. So, that base of people, I think, are really helping us. And, we're getting so many new people in for introductory classes too. We have them every single week, multiple times a week. So there's always that access point where when I started, I had to wait 4 weeks for the next intro because that's when it was offered. So now someone could decide in the morning on a Sunday and they could be in on Monday trying things. So.
Yeah, and obviously accelerating their own programs at the same time too. So how many different types of classes do you have then?
So there are 3 primary types of classes. So we have silks, but multiple levels of them, multiple age categories as well, ranging from, 8-year-olds is the youngest that we take all the way to adults. Most of our classes are adult focused, but we did add some for kids due to demand. We have hoop classes, otherwise known as Lyra. So that's the big metal hoop that you see. Right. And then we have flexibility classes. So our flexibility coach, he's been teaching yoga for 10 years, but we really wanted something that was less, I don't want to say structured, but less like be quiet in your own,
there is
space.
No quiet during flexibility.
More casual and more outcomes based, because we're really working on, splits and back bends and all of these different things. And we want to see those results rather than, I don't know, have a spiritual experience.
Yeah,
we're not in it for the relaxation. We're in it for the results.
Right. Yep. And I know that, some people hear yoga and they go, no, it's just not
Stuffy.
for me. But then somebody will say, well, it'll help with this, it'll help with that.
Yeah.
So this sounds like that's the type of class for that particular person. Yeah. And I did get to see you do some of the rings while you were on TV recently, talking about your upcoming, at that point, grand opening. And now that you've had it, sounds like things have been going incredibly well. And Ashley, you talk about booking the gigs for the most part, because, I had messaged Katie a while back saying, hey, we've got this variety show called The Vaughties. We've got a couple of dates coming up this summer. And so I sent her one. Nope, booked. Sent her another. Nope, booked. So you've got a few things going on, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We like to stay busy. Her and I are both of the mindset we like keeping ourselves busy, and we're both highly, I'm going to just go ahead and throw it out there. Sorry. We're both highly ADHD. So have to keep going. And like, even with my other businesses and everything, if we don't have upcoming gigs, if my calendar has like an open weekend, I'm like, hey, let's try to get this booked. And she's just like, and hear me out, we could have a day off. And I'm like, you don't want that. And she's like, I don't want that.
Well, I always say busy beats boredom.
Mm-hmm.
Boredom makes you spend money.
I guess I've been bored a lot lately too. What was the most fun for you getting involved in this? I mean, you told us about wanting to do it. Your husband gets you that for a Christmas present. You start off and you're kind of like, oh no. So where out of those 10 did it become, oh, I love this?
Rebecca Rap Day. So Rebecca Rap is a joke. I always say everyone gets along with Becky. It's a beginner move that if you're having a hard time, I always will throw that into a class because it's very rare that someone doesn't get it. So Becky's a very nice person is what I like to tell my students. I've been a circus performer for the better part of 14, 15 years. But I was always on the not pretty side, I guess you could say. I'm a sideshow performer and I always wanted to do silks, but back home it was so saturated that I was like, I want to do it, but I'm never going to be able to perform this. And so when I found out that there was a place in town, and then when I first started doing it, there were no silks performances. And I told her, I'm like, my goal is to make performances happen. And she was like, yeah, that's a great goal. I would like to do that too. And so then her and Kayla started Circa, and I was like, hey, I went in on this. And they were like, well, you're not quite ready yet. And then 2 months later, I was like, hey, I went in on this. And then they were like, yeah. And then it turned into pretty much every weekend from there on out, we had something going on. And winters are slow time for performances, but probably this year probably won't be because holiday parties and stuff, we're making a name for ourselves now. And
yeah, there's no doubt that's been taking place.
Yes.
And I think last year we ended up doing 27 or 28 performances.
Yep.
And we really only picked up performing. We did a few in February, but then it was really
summertime,
like May through fall that we did all of those back to back. We had one day where we had 3 different things we were jumping in
October
between.
1st. That was that day. I remember that one big. I ended up getting a sliver of glass in my foot on the second gig, so I was a whiny baby on the third gig.
But we made it through.
Imagine,
we made it through, and that was SuperCon.
Yeah.
So
that
one was a really exciting day. And this year we've had a few where we've gone from one to another, but it's only been 2 in a row. But even those are exhausting. And like this weekend, we had a 3-hour gig on Friday and then a private party on Saturday. And Sunday was the grand opening. And her and I are like, God, my arms hurt so bad. But it's like so exciting.
Sidebar quickly.
Yes.
Ever do anything with Carson and Barnes? Circus? Okay.
No, I was part of Beggars Carnival down in St. Louis.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, because I did some clowning for Carson and Barnes.
Nice.
Many years ago now.
Never got in with any of the big names.
Okay.
I worked with Helza Poppin once,
Oh,
and that was
very
fun.
Cool. Yeah, some
They
fun
were-
stuff. But
yeah.
that's cool. So what type of act did you do then as sideshow?
I'm a human pincushion,
Okay.
and I do the ladder of machetes. So I walk on knives, and I do bed of nails, staple gun.
Yeah.
So the staple gun money shtick, and then my husband and I also do flesh suspension. So
Okay.
we haven't done it
I
in a long
have
time.
to ask, or not ask, but I have to use it then just because I've got to get a pun in here. So what you're saying is the bits that you were doing as a sideshow performer were in fact staples of the business.
Yes.
That's the good
That's
stuff.
the stuff we like. She's the dad joke extraordinaire.
Oh, really? Love it, love it,
Yeah.
love it.
So we love a good dad joke.
All right, so do you do any of that yet along with what you're doing now?
It's very rare.
Okay.
It's very rare. That's usually for like, we really only do any of the pincushion stuff still for like 18, 21 and up shows.
Right.
We're hoping to bring some of the like more of my tame sideshow stuff into like Halloween shows this summer.
Yeah. October 31st-ish.
Definitely summer. Yeah. So around that, Halloween time, we've been asked already, hey, we've heard about your Halloween shows. We want in. Okay, are you sure you've heard all the way about my Halloween shows? Because I don't think you want all of that at your restaurant. But we can do some of it. And so we've already got inquiries for Halloween for all of our stuff.
Yeah.
And last year we had a really fun Halloween gig that was a private house party that didn't have the sideshow stuff, but we got to like dress up as clowns and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And we did fire and aerial for that.
I was going to say, I thought I saw that you had done some fire as well.
Yep, her and I are fire performers as well.
Oh, my. Excellent. Because I finally got to see it when we did our first body show of the year last month. And we had the fire dancers last Ember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
They're amazing.
They are. And it's like, that was the coolest thing I've seen in a long, long time.
They are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so good to know that you have it as well then, because then it could be like a double build act if we ever get you in bodies.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge. Katie, it certainly has taken off. You're getting people asking for you now and so forth. So this is obviously far more than you kind of thought it was ever going to be. So where does it go from here?
Yeah, so we have a lot planned moving forward. So we're doing a lot of specialty workshops. So we're doing acro yoga and hand balancing and aerial yoga for those. And then the most exciting thing to me is we are bringing the first aerial competition to Sioux Falls.
Really?
Yes, so that is September 15th through 17th. So we already have people signing up for that. And we have competed in other competitions, like in the Black Hills, they have one, or competed in aerial Olympics in Wisconsin or virtual competitions, but they're so few and far between at this point. And being able to have the first one here, I think, will bring so many people to the city who would not otherwise come, but also being able to provide workshops at that time and really quality, judging and feedback. I know that I have competed in competitions that have really helped shape the course of some of my training, when they essentially say, I think you can, do more, you're not living up to your potential, right? Like when people can just see that from like a video that you've done, I think it speaks volumes. But as a kid too, we're building our kids program, having a reason to do the sport, right? Like as a kid, I did gymnastics. I loved going to meets and just having the competition of it. And, it's great to have showcases and like dance recitals, but being able to have a different layer of it and have more access for anyone who wants to compete, regardless of their age or the aerial apparatus that you do, I think it's going to be a really fun experience, and getting people into our gym from all over the place as well is going to be awesome.
Where will it be held?
It's held at our studio.
At your studio.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
And since we have a full, upper level of seating, everyone will be able to sit there. We'll have photographers, we'll video the whole thing. It's going to be a big event.
It's going to be a big weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. That's great. And I'm sure the city of Sioux Falls will love that too. People coming in, that's always a good thing for the tourism department.
People who wouldn't have normally come to Sioux Falls.
Exactly.
And then I feel like everyone, when they come to Sioux Falls, are like, oh, South Dakota. And then they get here and they're like, oh, this is an actual city. How cool.
So it's a judged event. And I have to ask because, even when I watch the Olympics and I see the gymnastics and so forth, I sit there and go, okay, that was really cool. And then judges will go, and it's like, so how are aerials judged? What would a judge be looking at? Because there's going to be 95% of us that will have no idea. We'll just go, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So the criteria changes per competition, but we're trying to standardize it with other ones as much as we can. So there is some of it that's difficulty and execution. So similar to gymnastics, gymnastics has a difficulty score and then your execution score. So how well did you perform it? Did you keep your legs straight, toes pointed? So that's a piece of it. But another thing is the storyline and the artistry of it. Yep, choreography. Technique. Yeah, how well does everything flow together that you put there? Can I understand the storyline of what you're trying to show? Because some people just do their biggest tricks back to back to back, and it's not cohesive. It doesn't look great, but it's difficult, right? So it's trying to sway people away from doing that and more make it the intersection of dance and gymnastics. And I think that's what makes it fun is it's not just, my hardest tricks with straight legs. It's what are you trying to show? What emotion do you have? All of that is part of it.
All right. I do have to ask on a personal basis, what's the weight restriction on a silk or a...
2,500 pounds.
Seriously?
Yes.
I'm under a tenth of that now.
Nice.
Because I sat there and I didn't volunteer for it the other day when you were having your open house, but then I just got to thinking of it at some point, if I did a private lesson, because I have terrible balance issues after having lost a toe and having neuropathy. And it's like, I wonder if this could help at all.
I feel like it's helped immensely in a lot of my ailments. I've lost 80 pounds since doing it, and my balance is far better since doing it because you have to have a lot of spatial and body awareness to do it.
Right.
You don't have to have that to start, obviously. No one does. But you gain it. You realize where you are in the silk. Sometimes when you're spinning super fast, we have no idea what's up, down, sideways. We don't know. But it helps immensely in a lot of ailments. I think the largest person we've had on the silks was 400 pounds.
Wow.
And they were perfectly fine.
Yeah. And we've had four people on a silk before. So four different performers stacking things on top of it. The hoops are a little bit different.
They have weight limits, but
that's 500. So we do doubles on them though as well, both of us on a hoop. So but the ceilings, everything that we have is rated for high weight loads. It's made for either rock climbing
Right.
or like towing trucks. I promise. Like if it's made for trucks, it's fine for people.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, our shackles are literally towing shackles that are rated for the downward force of, I think those ones are rated for well over 5,000 pounds.
Yep.
Oh, incredible. That's great stuff. All righty. So what is the most fun about doing aerial arts?
you want to go first?
I was about to ask you the same thing. Doing aerial arts for me, my most treasured thing is performing. I love performing. I like when I can execute a plan. My favorite thing is the hoop right now because I am spearheading a Lyra program for every body, basically 8 and up, where that hasn't been here in the past.
Right.
And so like I'm super passionate about that right now. And the hoop is very pretty. It's come to my attention that not a lot of people appreciate how painful it is, but we're going to have to just work on that with people.
Uh-huh.
But then for teaching aerial arts, my favorite thing is when someone finally gets a nemesis move and they just like throw a little party for themselves, and then everyone in the room throws a party for them with them. And it's a lot of fun watching people learn and grow with us.
Right.
It's especially, I teach our beginners, and sometimes I'll teach her intermediate classes when she's gone, but beginners, when they finally get that first invert, when they finally get that first tip key, they finally get that first crossback straddle, it's always just like a huge like screaming fest in the gym of all of your friends cheering for you. And it's electric in the gym every time someone finally gets something that they've been trying so hard to get.
Yeah. How about you, Katie?
Yeah, I would say for me, the sport is fun. Like as an adult, I don't think adults have enough fun, right? Like if I can go and lift weights, that's great, but I don't have fun lifting weights. It's more of just like a physical challenge, where aerial is a physical challenge, but it's always something new. It's something creative, and there are infinite possibilities. Like there are moves that we have created from scratch that no one has ever done before, ever. Right. And that's exciting to be able to create and do that. But ultimately, what keeps me coming back is having that community of people who you just love being around, and you're all pushing each other to do more and try harder things and get out of your comfort zone, you know, whether it be dragging someone to a performance in a different state and doing it in front of hundreds of people and they're going, you're crazy. Why would I ever do this? Or telling someone, no, you can climb to the top of this. You are capable. And yeah, seeing them able to do that. So I think just giving people a fun outlet, but also a community. I did not have a community when I moved to Sioux Falls 6 years ago. And I've really found like my people through this sport. And I want adults to find their people. I think it can be super lonely and challenging, and you know, this is just our vehicle for those friendships, for our community, and for our fitness.
All right. Where can people find your schedule of events and so forth?
Yeah. Events are going to be on our Facebook page primarily. Okay. You can find them on Instagram too, but it's facebook.com/SD Aerial Arts. And our website is sdaerialarts.com. We have our full schedule of the events at our space on there, but also all of our classes. So those would be the 2 best places to go.
All right, fantastic. Appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Congratulations on how well everything is going. So Katie Critzer and Ashley Premer, thank you both for being on the Dave Holly Hour.
Thanks so much.
And we'll be back to wrap up the show in just a moment. Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XL Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation. 605-332-9235 or xlchiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XL Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to those great guests, Michael Sorenson and Pierce Hoffman, part of tomorrow night's Vaughties show. Again, tickets available online, thevaughties.com. And as well, thanks to Ashley Premer and Katie Critzer. And of course, thank you for your listening, your downloading, sharing, and following on social media, and the cups of coffee that you can buy me. I do love me some coffee. Hey, if you haven't done so far, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That automatically gets you entered for Pizza with a Podcaster. Now, for all 187 episodes, go online, DaveHollyHour.com. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique, The Sky in Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to DaveHollyHour.com and look for a coffee cup icon in the lower left. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.